What it do, everybody? It's your boy LOG from Where There's Smoke. Here with a little update on the war and other current events. I adjusted my camera and like my little um I don't know what you would call this. I guess just my little camera portion of the video. So we'll see if I'm rocking with it. If not, I might have to adjust it some more. I don't know. I moved my camera and then when I moved it back, I adjusted my screen and I feel like now it's super sensitive when I move out of the view. But let's see. Maybe just widen it a hair. Okay. We'll rock with it like that and see how it is. Let me check the audio and video and we'll get right into it. There's so much going on with this war. I feel like I've missed stuff just by nature of me not going live as much as I would like. But, you know, that's on me and my kind of thing. Let's see. All right. Audio and video are good. Let's get into it. This is not related to the war or anything that's going on, but this is JD Vance back in 2016 saying he was a never Trumper. So let's watch this and enjoy.
I'm a never Trump.
Kind of our jump off video, just kind of our little treat to start off this video. So here we go.
Trump guy. I never liked him, and I've noticed this willingness from people who think a lot like I do. That look, we told you so. To all these white working class voters, we told you so. We told you that Trump was going to be a terrible candidate.
They told you so. They told you so. Isn't this the same guy who's sucking Trump up right now?
We told you that you were an idiot if you voted for him. The problem is, if you take that attitude of sort of gloating over Trump's defeat, then you're playing into the very thing that gave rise to Trump in the first place, which is a feeling that the elites think that they're smarter than you and just think you're a bunch of idiots. Mm-hmm. Right, one of the biggest drivers of Trump's support and one of the things that's most predictive of his support is that you express cynicism about the future and a belief that your kids...
That's what he gives voice to every time he makes a campaign stop.
Yeah, absolutely. You think about the way that he talks about...
Your cynicism is appropriate.
Absolutely.
Because those people don't care.
Absolutely. You think about the slogan, Make America Great Again. The implication is that America isn't great right now, and if you're very unhappy about your life, that's going to resonate.
Do you think this is a large number of people? Do you think this is enough people to elect Donald Trump?
No, I don't think it's a large enough people to elect Donald Trump. I think that this election is really having a negative effect, especially on the white working class, right? Because I think a lot of these grievances are legitimate, but what it's doing is it's giving people an excuse to point the finger at someone else. It's point the finger at Mexican immigrants or Chinese trade or the Democratic elites or whatever else. And sometimes these villains are legitimate. I think it's totally fair to say that the policy elites of the Democratic Party haven't been totally concerned about the white working class. But at the same time, fundamentally what's going on and what Donald Trump has done is change the focus of the white working class from a sort of engaged and constructive politics to a politics of pointing the finger. Mm-hmm. You know, the media sort of asked me to be the spokesman for the white working class voter who's voting for Trump, right? But as somebody who doesn't like Trump myself, I understand where Trump's voters come from, but I also don't like Trump himself, and that's made me realize that maybe I'm not quite part of either world totally.
Well, he backtracked on that, didn't he? As soon as the money came rolling in.
All right, let's take you to the White House now, where President Trump is answering questions from reporters. Let's listen in.
And far too few people have actually wanted to do anything about it. That's what makes this administration different, is that we actually tackle the problems the American people have been confronting. So I'm very happy about it. And look, I think that I know what you're trying to do, Phil. You're trying to drive a wedge between members of the administration, between me and the president. What the president said
no one could ever do that, JD.
And I agreed with him, is that Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. We have taken this military action under the president's leadership. I think all of us, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, should pray for success.
Be a
and pray
good
for the
little
safety
boy,
of our
JD,
troops.
and say what
That's
they need you to say.
I've taken. Make it as successful as under the president's leadership. I think all of us, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, should pray for success and pray for the safety of our troops. That's the approach that I've taken. Make it as successful as possible.
So there's no hesitation, given your past statements, with the current operation?
What do you mean there's no hesitation with my past statements?
Given your skepticism of foreign adventurism, you were a critic of the global war on terror previously.
Well, I think one big difference, Phil, is that we have a smart president, whereas in the past we've had dumb presidents, and I trust President
Oh yeah, this president's much better and smarter than any prior president.
Trump to get the job done, to do a good job for the American people, and to make sure that the mistakes of the past aren't repeated. Absolutely.
Thanks, sir.
Look, JD's been great, but here's the simple thing, and I have, some people, I don't want wars. I want wars less than almost anybody. Peace through strength. But you know what? I've watched Iran for a long time. I've called them out 20 years ago when I was a civilian that...
No, you didn't. You fake ass faggot. You didn't.
Liked watching the world.
Like watching the world.
Violent, vicious people. The leadership, violent, vicious people. They killed 32,000 protesters.
If they're so violent and vicious and they've have sleeper cells over here that came over here when Biden was in charge, because that's the story we get from Trump, how come they have not been attacking us with their sleeper cells all when Biden was in and all right now, the first year of Trump's term before we attacked them? How come they have not been attacking us over here with their sleeper cells during Biden's term and during the 1 year, the 5 years up till now? Where are all the fucking Iranian sleeper cell attacks or even attacks from overseas if they're so fucking savage and they've been just waiting to attack us? It's like, dude, this is all such bullshit.
Protesters over the last 3 weeks. They put out a memo 2 days ago saying, if you protest, we will shoot you and kill you in the streets. And somebody said, oh, there's not that many protests. Well, first of all, there are bombs going off all over the place.
First of all, we're bombing the hell out of them.
But even if there weren't, who's going to do that? Who's going to do it? They don't have any guns, and the other ones have latest in line machine gun, right? And every form of gun you can have. They shoot them right through the middle of the head. They're violent people.
Right through the middle of the
If they had a
head.
nuclear weapon, they would use it. And sometimes I'll have some of the people that, feel very strongly, like I do about wars. And I say, do you think Iran is violent and do you think their people are violent? Yes, leadership. Do you think they should have a nuclear weapon, which is massive power? I don't even want to discuss how powerful because it's depressing. And they said, no, they shouldn't have. Definitely they shouldn't have. I said, and you don't want to fight war? No, we don't want to fight war. So these are naive
No, we
people
don't want to fight war.
that frankly are stupid. If you believe that Iran should have a nuclear weapon, there's something wrong with you because they would use it within, the only question is within 1 hour if they get it or 1 day.
It's all just killing and death. Something's wrong with you. You're advocating for just killing a bunch of fucking people. Fuck off. I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of the justification. I'm tired of the brainwashing. Oh, man, enough is enough. They're doing this so that the people that support Trump are like totally brainwashed at this point. Like beyond. It's beyond. He's going to do something outrageously crazy, which he already is doing. And people are going to hate you if you still support him. It's already like that, but it's going to get more and more people are going to start to hate you if you support him still. Craziness what they're doing with this man and with the people that still support him.
They will use it, and they will blow up the entire Middle East, not just Israel. They'll start with Israel, but they will blow up. And you got to see that when they unexpectedly started sending missiles to every country within 1,000 miles of them. I mean, they're blowing up countries that were neighbors, not necessarily some friends. They actually were blowing up some friends. They were blowing up the people that handle their accounts. They're sending thousands of missiles into...
All right, I don't think there's anything else I really want from this. Let's see.
The country nuclear weapon 3, we just hug that little sucker.
Dude, I was about to click off. What is this? I almost missed this gold.
Blown up the Middle East, and they would have then come after us. And if these gorgeous B-2 bombers, give me that bomber, Andrews. Let me just hug that little sucker. Give me that bomber over there. Thank you.
Let me just hug that little sucker.
This looks small, but in person it's very big. Because it's the only plane capable of carrying a 200,000-pound bomb. So I don't know how they do it. Because it's very sleek and nice, but it carries a lot of weapons and there's a lot of bombs. But had I not sent this incredible machine times numerous others to hit Iran at...
Why can you go kill a bunch of their people, but it's not good for them to kill a bunch of our people? What's the difference? I'm going to send this and many other machines over there to wreak destruction and kill all, like, dude, death is death. Killing is killing. What is the good reason? It's bullshit.
I not sent this incredible machine times numerous others to hit Iran at midnight with no moon.
That's nothing to brag about. You're just a fucking coward. You're not a big man. You're a pussy. You're not brave. You're not fucking outsmarting and intelligent more than anyone else. You're just a fucking big fat pussy. I'm so sick of it. It's fun for me to laugh and hee-hee about when he's making all these, like, a lot of the times, but on the real note, it's like, dude, I'm so sick of your ass.
Dead dark. Every single bomb was dropped right down the chute that it was supposed to hit. How they do it, who knows? Nobody else can figure. No other country can do it. No other country has our military or even close. And I think we've probably proven that with Venezuela and now with because we have...
Yeah, when everything goes in war, he's like, help, help. We need help keeping the Strait of Hormuz open. First he says, we're going to keep it open for everyone. A day or two later, he's like, help, help. Whoever we can get, help. Come help us keep the strait open. If we're just the best military by far, we're fucking everyone's ass, well, what would help do? That's like Michael Jordan. And they got like, help, help, help defense. It's like, dude, like, what help? You're done. It's over. Like, or I guess the better scenario would be like if Wembanyama is guarding like some scrub and he's got him locked down. Wembanyama's not going to be like, help, help, help. He's just going to swat the shit out of that ball. It's like, dude, help, help, help if we have the best military ever.
Configured. No other country can do it. No other country has our military or even close. And
let me pull up the video of him saying we needed help to keep the strait open. I mean, this guy is such a little crybaby, back and forth, crying wolf, just fucking loser.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us this Saturday. We begin with breaking news in the war in Iran, now entering its third week. Hundreds have been killed, millions displaced, billions of dollars spent, the war expanding across the region. The U.S. military says secure the shipping.
Good evening, Jerika. Tonight, President Trump is calling on countries from the UK and France, South Korea, and Japan, even China, to help keep open the Strait of Hormuz, that vital shipping lane, as Iran tries to...
If we have a military far superior to anyone else, why would we even ask for help? What could they do to possibly help us? If we got Iron Man and what the fuck is his helper's name? The War Patriot or whatever the fuck. If we have shit like that flying around and lasers and we're just blowing everybody out of the fucking water, why would we need anyone's help? What good could they do? That's like if we have the Avengers and they have a regular army. What the fuck are they going to do?
Strangle the flow
Clean up
of
the
oil
mess
from this region.
Thick black plumes of smoke rose into the sky above the United Arab Emirates, the major oil port of Fujairah, in flames as the Gulf states bear the brunt of a
I
war.
wanted to hear him say it. Say it. Now say it. Now say it.
we are talking to other countries about working with us on the policing of the strait. And I think we're getting good response. If we do, that's great. And if we don't, that's great too. But remember, like as an example, in many cases, they're NATO countries. We're always there for NATO. We're helping them with Ukraine. And many, it's got an ocean in between us. Doesn't affect us, but we've helped them.
Iran has the ocean between us too. It's further away. How the fuck is that our problem?
It'd be interesting to see what country wouldn't help us with a very small endeavor, which is just keeping the strait open. That, by comparison, is a small. It's small because Iran has very little firepower left.
Iran has no firepower left. It's a very little task, very easy. Why can't we just get some help with it? But if we're so powerful, why do we need help?
I think we right down the chute that it was supposed to hit. How they do it, who knows? Nobody else can figure. No other country can do it. No other country has our military or even close. And I think we've probably proven that.
He is so full of shit. There might be more gold from this, but for now we're going to move on because I have a shitload of other tabs open, as y'all can see. And one of them is a very long video that I want to cover quite a bit of.
With Venezuela and
Let's just see if I can.
A nuclear weapon within 1 month after that bombing took place. And they would have used it on first Israel and then the Middle East. And you know that because all of those missiles that were launched against their neighbors were set long ago, long before they knew they
That's such bullshit.
would be using them this quickly. There would have been nothing left. So we've done a great thing. The people that
No, you haven't. You have not done a great thing. That's a lie. That's a lie.
It's okay for a very sick ideology, a very sick country in terms of its leadership. Very good people, great people.
Kind of like over here. We got a lot of good people. Our leadership's pretty sick. Pretty fucked.
But the people that say that, I think they're actually, they're either evil or they're stupid. So if you believe that Iran should not have a nuclear weapon, they should not have it, then you have to absolutely love what I've done, because in 2 weeks we have decimated them. They have no navy.
Here's the
they have
thing.
No air.
Who gives a fuck if they have a nuclear weapon? China has a nuclear weapon. Russia has a nuclear weapon. North Korea has a nuclear weapon. All of our side allies have a nuclear weapon. Or all the big ones. Who are we to decide who gets a nuclear weapon? And the other thing is, there's kind of this thing agreed upon amongst everybody of, we all have the nukes, but we're all not going to use them. It's basically a death sentence to use them. It would render half or like a third or a quarter at minimum of the world like fucked, based off of like the nuclear aftermath. There's probably better terms for it, but like that stuff gets into the air and everyone has to breathe that shit in. So it's not just like, oh, they bomb them and it's over. It's like, no, biggest bomb probably ever in history, and then there's gonna be radioactive and chemicals and shit you don't want to breathe in for like years in that area of the world. So it's pretty much like, hey, unless you want to fuck the whole world up, we're not using nukes. It's like a last, double or triple last resort. And all the countries know that. Hey, if we want to fuck over our entire half of the world, go ahead and use a nuke. It's like nobody really wants to do that. The other thing is, they can get shot down, potentially, I would think. And then, as I was discussing with my grandpa, which we're no two experts, but it's been said in politics, if one nuke goes off, well, the other country's going to send them. It's like no one wants to get into this whole, like, just blowing up the whole world thing. So I don't think anyone ever really wants to use a nuke. But anyway,
Force.
Maybe I'm wrong.
They have no anti-aircraft weapons. They have no leadership. The leadership is gone. But then they set up a new leadership to go and name a new leader, and that leadership is gone. And now they think maybe the sun is gone. They're all gone. My biggest problem is I have no idea who we're talking to, because nobody ever heard of any of these people. They're all dead. But we did a job for the world, not a job for us, for the whole world. We took the worst country in 50 years and maybe longer from the ideological standpoint, a country that wanted to blow up the world, a country that is sick, and it has a religious fervor. And when you add religion, you know, people don't realize more people died in religious wars than every other war put together. And that's what you would have had.
It'd be a shame if this was another one, wouldn't it?
Here. And it was a terrible thing. I'm very proud of what we did. And I think JD understands better than most. If you give Iran a nuclear weapon, at least a very substantial part of the world would be blown up. And it'll be used almost immediately. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You don't mind if I keep this here, do you? Isn't
God, he's such a pet. What are you, a little kid?
Beautiful thing. It flies in, and they say, sir, they're in Iranian airspace. And I say, oh, and I'm watching from the Situation Room with
He's like a child.
Very smart people, including some good generals, real generals, not television generals. And all of a sudden you see that dive. They start diving, and sure, and you see him 30,000, 20,000. Boy, I said, that was a lot. They went down fast to aim it. And they know they're coming, and they're smart, and they never saw them. And they're firing a little bit, but they don't know what they're firing.
God, you can watch every word. It's just gold of humor or stuff he's going to say that fucks himself over or contradicts himself. But we're going to get out of this video because I haven't really watched it, and I don't know if there's any other good stuff. But this video, which is kind of long, is a definite banger. It has some good shit in it. And then we'll see. We'll probably do most of this. So, you know, if you got better shit to do and don't want to watch this for the long haul, I definitely understand. Maybe come back and watch it when you got more time. And then I'm going to hit a bunch of smaller videos after this. But there's been a lot going on. I feel like that first video we just watched was good because I got to make fun of some stuff. Show JD being a good little boy and doing what he has to do for the money and the position and to move up in the game. And we also get to see Trump kind of give us a quick kind of preview of the first little, you know, up to the war at this point. He's killed, I think, 3 of their leaders and several other of their leadership and et cetera, et cetera. So let's go ahead and watch this. This is a cabinet meeting after a House passes budget bill 11 months ago. What? Is this the one I want? No, this is not the one I want. Damn it. Trump. Damn it. This is not the one I want. This is the one I want. Boom. Let's get it.
As you know, we attacked Carg Island and knocked it literally, destroyed everything on the island except for the area where the oil is.
That's another big development recently, that we attacked Carg Island. That's like a development within the last day or two. That's like one of the big new developments of the war, and I'm pretty sure it's around the Strait of Hormuz. Let's see. Down. Over here. Is it this one? Not sure, actually. Is it this one? Yeah, I think it's this one. So this is a big position for us now, right off the coast of Iran. So let's see what he has to say that we've done there.
At the pipes, we left the pipes. We didn't want to do that, but that we will do that. We can do that on 5 minutes' notice. It'll be over. But for purposes of someday rebuilding that country, I guess we did the right thing. But it may not stay that way. Just one simple word, and the pipes will be gone too. But it'll take a long time to rebuild that. We are aggressively dismantling Iran's defense industrial base, and ability to rebuild its missiles and drone capability is getting down to close to zero. And we're hammering their capacity to threaten commercial shipping.
Stop the hammering!
In the Strait of Hormuz, with more than 30 mine-laying ships destroyed. We hit, to the best of our knowledge, all of their mine-laying ships. Now they can put them on other types of ships, I guess, and drop them in. But we don't know that any have even been dropped in. We're not sure that any have been.
How the fuck do you not know that?
That's a big negative for them if they do it. It's a form of suicide. But we don't know that they have dropped any in. But
keep your eye on Mike Johnson to the right. Let me make this big so we can really get the full. Actually to the left. Keep your eye on Mike Johnson here. He makes some funny faces when Trump says different things and looking around, and just, he's a little weasel. And it's just funny to catch his expressions and kind of his reactions.
We've hit all 30 of their ships and destroyed them. They're all at the bottom of the sea. We strongly encourage other nations whose economies depend on the Strait far more than ours. You know, we get less than 1% of our oil from the Strait, and some countries get much more. Japan gets 95%. China gets 90%. Many of the Europeans get quite a bit. South Korea gets 35%. So we want them to come and help us with the strait.
Here we go.
We have it in very good shape. The countries, I said, we've already taken care of Iran, but now, because of the fact that literally a single...
So he's going to say, we need help, please come help. When was this? 2 days ago. So 2 days ago, he was on the come help thing, and then... Let's see if I can find the little... Here we go. So that was 2 days ago. Then a day later, he says, the United States has been informed by most of our NATO allies that they don't want to get involved with our military operation against the terrorist regime of Iran in the Middle East. This, despite the fact that almost every country strongly agreed with what we are doing and that Iran cannot in any way, shape, or form be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. I am not surprised by their action, however, because I have always considered NATO, which we spent hundreds of billions of dollars per year protecting these same countries, to be one-way street. We protect them, but they do nothing for us, in particular, in a time of need. Fortunately, we have decimated Iran's military. Their navy is gone, their air force is gone, and their anti-aircraft and radar is gone, and perhaps most importantly, their leaders at virtually every level are gone to never threaten us or the Middle Eastern allies or the world again. If they're completely decimated and gone, and our military is far superior than any other military, why do you need help? The United States has been informed by most of our NATO allies that they don't want to get involved with our military operation against the terrorist regime of Iran in the Middle East. This, despite the fact that almost every country strongly agreed with what we were doing and that Iran cannot. I just wanted to be sure that I didn't fuck that up, but that is the most run-on of run-on sentences in the very beginning. Anyway. Okay, he said, fortunately, we have decimated their military, navy, air force, anti-aircraft, and radar is gone. Leaders at virtually every level are gone, never to threaten us or the world again. Because of the fact that we have had such military success, we no longer need or desire the NATO countries' assistance. We never did. Then why the fuck were you asking for their help? Likewise, Japan, Australia, and South Korea. In fact, speaking as President of the United States of America, by far the most powerful country anywhere in the world, we do not need the help of anyone. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. This was the 17th, March 17th, 26 at 10:18 a.m. But a day earlier, he wanted their help. What a little flip-flopping faggot. He can't even decide. Why would these other countries spend thousands of millions of dollars, not thousands, millions of dollars sending their big warships over there or sending missiles or sending troops or anything when you change your mind in one day?
Right. We have it in very good shape. The countries, I said, we've already taken care of Iran, but now because of...
Why do you need help? I mean, this is so silly.
The fact that literally a single terrorist can put something in the water or shoot something or shoot a missile, a small missile, and it's fairly close range because it is a tight area. And which is one of the reasons they've always used that as a weapon. Iran has always used that as an economic weapon, and it's not going to be able to be used very long. Numerous countries have told me they're on the way. Some are very enthusiastic about it, and some aren't. Some are countries that we've helped for many, many years. We've protected them from horrible outside sources. And they weren't that enthusiastic. And the level of enthusiasm matters to me. We have some countries where we have 45,000 soldiers, great soldiers, protecting them from harm's way. And we have done a great job. And when we want to know, do you have any minesweepers? Well, would rather not get involved, sir. I said, for 40 years we're protecting you, and you don't want to get involved in something that is very minor. Very few shots going to be taken because they don't have many shots left. But
why do you need help?
Would rather not get involved. I just want the fake news media and everybody else to remember that was said, because when I've been a big critic of all of the protecting of countries, because I know that we'll protect them, and if we ever needed help, they won't be there for us. I've just known that for a long period of time, just like I knew about the Strait, that it would be a weapon, which I predicted a long time ago. Predicted all of this stuff. You guys were very generous in that. I predicted all of it. I predicted
Watch what he's about to predict.
Osama bin Laden would knock out the World Trade Center. I made that prediction a year before he did it. I said, you better get him. He's a bad guy. I watched him
Trump predicted 9/11. How do you like that?
be interviewed one time, and I said, that's a bad guy. You better get him. 1 year before, exactly. I wrote it in a book. You can even check. About a year before the World Trade Center then came down.
He's so full of shit.
President Clinton actually had a shot at him, and he didn't take it. Unfortunately, I'm not blaming him for that, but he didn't take it. And he ended up knocking down the World Trade Center, but I predicted that too. I predicted a lot of things. We strongly encourage other nations whose economies depend on the Strait for blood. I mean, these people literally need it. 95% of their energy or their oil comes out of the Strait, and they should be in here very happily helping us. And it's incredible. We have such great. We're number one in oil by double now. We drill, baby, drill. We're double any other nation, and it's going to be soon triple any other nation. And that doesn't include Venezuela, who's been great. By the way, the relationship with Venezuela has been fantastic. Millions, literally millions of barrels of oil are being taken out, and it's been a great help, and it's been to their great benefit. The president has done a really good job. We get along with him really well. But we've taken out millions of barrels of oil and brought to Houston and other places to the refineries. We have refineries set up specifically for that. And it's been a great relationship, and more and more is happening. It's a tremendous oil source.
I'm going to try to find it real quick. There's different oil grades. I saw like a really cool picture. I should have saved it the other day, but it was showing like the purity. Here's one. Iran oil, U.S. oil, Venezuela oil, Russia oil. Damn, that's pretty blurry, but y'all can get the idea. Okay. So, Venezuela oil is a lot less. I don't know if pure is the right word, but it's not, look at how goopy and nasty it is compared to like ours in Iran. So, that's got a fucking bug on me. What the hell? Beat it, chump. Country living, looking ass. Anyway, look how thick it is too. No did. But yeah. So that'll kind of get. That's just like something I saw the other day, and I've never known or thought about. But ignorance is bliss. But yeah, this is what we kind of do on this channel: discuss things, learn if we can. But anyway, oil is different in different places, and Venezuela takes a lot more to purify. So even though we have more oil, it is not as good as our oil. It takes a lot more to refine and purify to be usable. So, anyway.
And we're getting, we're stepping it up very rapidly. The big companies are going in, and they will actually, numbers in a pretty short period of time, numbers that they've never been able to do, we'll be doing. There's a lot of oil under that land. We strongly encourage the other nations to get involved with us and get involved quickly and with great enthusiasm. I have that from a number of them, and I'd like to say their names, but frankly, I don't know if they would want me to or not, because maybe they don't want to be targeted. But I say, wouldn't matter if you're targeted or not, because this is a paper tiger that we're dealing with.
Sorry, everybody. Went to get a drink. Let me see if I can get rid of this bug real quick. Give me like 30 seconds. All right, my bad, everybody. I think he's gone. Hopefully, he doesn't come back. Fucking bullshit. All right.
Dealing with now. It wasn't a paper tiger 2 weeks ago. It's a paper tiger now. So now we're going to get down to the reason. We'll take a couple of questions in
He thinks he has a tiger by the toe.
a moment, but we're going to get down to the reason we're here today. Actually, this was set up a long time ago. It's the Trump Kennedy Center. Over the past year, we've made incredible strides to restore the true purpose and prestige of this revered institution. Together, we're going to ensure it remains the finest performing arts facility of its kind anywhere in the world. And I don't know that it ever really reached that stage, but
We're probably not going to cover it tonight because I have so much stuff that I'm covering, and even stuff that's important that I missed, like meetings like this where he says, or that thing with him and Vance where I covered half of it, we had to move on. There's other stuff like that that I haven't covered and that I'm not going to be able to cover just due to time. So saying all that to say, Trump has time during a war to talk about the bullshit of a new ballroom and shit like that. And also, he had time to do an interview with Jake Paul, which we're not going to cover because, like I said, I'm even too busy here for me to cover all the shit he's been doing. But somehow he found time to sit down with Jake Paul and suck his cock while we're in the middle of a war. It's like, dude, what is going on here?
it will over a period of time. We're rebuilding it. It's in very, very bad condition. It's been it's been somewhat of a disaster, to be honest with you. It's been let go to hell. That's what they've done. They did a poor job. They spent money in the wrong places. They built some theaters underneath that nobody uses, little ones, tiny theaters that cost like $300 million. And the money was spent incorrectly, wrong. We're dealing with some networks on the possibility of renting those little theaters. Nobody's going to use them. They want the big halls. The halls are going to be incredible. They're in bad shape, but when they're completed, the bones are potentially something that could be unbelievable. So I want to, before we begin, I want to thank Rick Grinnell. He's been a friend of mine for a long time. He's been unbelievable. He was the ambassador, as you know, to Germany. There was no happier woman in the world than Angela Merkel. Angela. She called me, thank you, sir, thank you. Although she liked Rick a lot, there was nobody happier that he was no longer going to be the ambassador to Germany. He was difficult for them. He was not your typical ambassador. He was the opposite. He would do what was best for the United States, not for Germany. And I want to tell you, he did a great job. So good that I put him in charge of a thing called intelligence. And something he didn't really want to do, but he did it, and he did it incredibly well. There were a lot of leakers. He found out the leakers. And when he didn't find out who the leaker was in a certain area, he fired everybody. And he went into one room where there was leaks coming out. These are long-term problems that these various places have had. And he said, who's the one that leaked this? And they wouldn't admit it, so he fired the whole room. And he did a good job. I'll tell you, he was very good. And during this transition period, I asked Rick if he would run it because we wanted to see. And if you remember when we first took it over, I didn't do it with enthusiasm. I did it because somebody had to do it, had to turn it around because it was failing. It would have closed, and physically it would have almost fallen down. It was in very bad shape. The steel columns outside, as an example, were meant to be covered. You know, exposed steel is unusual to have in building. What I do best in life is build. I build buildings really well and under budget and ahead of schedule. That's what I do. Unlike the Fed building, which is going to cost billions of dollars. It may never open. I mean, right now, we have a wonderful Kevin, a wonderful new head of the Fed coming in. I don't know if he'll ever be able to occupy this complex. It was destroyed by Jerome, too late, Powell, I call him too late because he's always too late with interest, should cut interest rates. He should cut them right now. They should have a special meeting. What's a better time to cut interest rates than now? A third grade student would know that. But
look at Mike Johnson.
That's a terrible thing. But what I do is build. I build great stuff. And what we're going to do is, right outside. In fact, if you look behind me, see the nice gold curtains?
God, he loves
If you want to look into a nice foundation and you want to see a lot of work, very deep, very, very deep for specific reasons, we have...
You know why they're going so deep? So they can have a creepy dungeon under there where they do naughty things. Very deep for specific reasons. What reasons?
You want to look into a nice foundation and you want to see a lot of work, very deep, very, very deep for specific reasons. We have...
What reasons?
a magnificent ballroom being built, because this is the biggest room, and it holds like 98 people for dinner. But behind me, you're going to have a ballroom that this building and the people occupying it in particular.
Frankly, the ballroom's going to shit on this room.
Every president for 150 years has clamored for a ballroom, a large, beautiful room.
No, they haven't.
This is a cocktail room, and this will actually be, this whole floor will end up being a cocktail room for the cocktail area or pre-area for the ballroom before dinners. So we'll have heads of state. We can't even do a heads of state dinner. Usually what they do is they would do them on the lawn with a tent. But when it rains, the lawn is very low. And you know the land in Washington. It was built on swampy, wet land. And when it rains and you have the king of Saudi Arabia, we have as an example the king of the UK, I would say King of England, who's a great guy. He's coming in very soon. And when it rains, you know what happened? The rain would go over their feet. It would be about 4 or 5 inches over their shoes. This was not good. And it rained a lot. So we're building, finally, because I do that. And by the way, no taxpayer money. I want to put that, zero. It's going to be, it's on time, on budget. It'll be under budget. Literally, we're having it under budget other than we've upgraded it.
When you say you build, you mean you hire people at incredibly low rates. That's why the jobs are under budget, because you pay the workers lower than they would like to make and lower than the standard. You underpay people to do the work that you would never, ever think of doing yourself. People that are rich, they get rich by making you do the work. They don't work. You do the work. Trump has never worked. He has never built a fucking thing. Trump can't hold a hammer. It would break his hand. Trump has never hammered a nail. Trump is a bitch. Trump has never built a thing. He's chaotic. He's a loser. He can barely build a sentence. So, Trump, you are not a builder. You're a bragger. That's what you are. That's what you're good at. You're good at bragging. You're not a builder.
In terms of the marbles we're using onyx and stones that are incredible. But it'll be something really spectacular. I'm looking at Mr. Steve Wynn, who's over there. He built a spectacular building, and he knows Trump builds a spectacular building. I built better buildings than him.
You're a disgrace to craftsmen. People that actually build stuff and actually craft stuff and actually fucking have skill. You're nothing. You're a disgrace to them.
Okay, what he said. But Steve is over here, and he really, with his incredible wife, Andrea. And thank you both for being here. Andrea's on the board, and Steve is so in love with his wife, he asked whether or not he could come. And I can say the same thing for the great Bob Kraft. He's got a wife that's so wonderful. He said, do you think I could come? She didn't have to accept that, you know. She could have said no. But Bob said, I would like to come. So, Bob, we will not let you vote, although his vote would be a good vote. He won't vote for the proper thing. But it's good.
For once, I would like to come instead of in an Asian parlor. Bob Kraft. Robert Kraft.
To have you both here. These are two great couples that know a lot about the things I'm talking about, like fixing, whether it's building a stadium or building a building.
Or fixing elections. They know what I'm talking about. Rigging. Robert Kraft. If there's anyone that knows about cheating and rigging, it's Robert Kraft. What is it, 7 Super Bowls? How did you win all those?
We know. They know how to do it. So thank you. Thank you, Steve, very much. But we've made incredible strides over the past year. If you remember, I said I want to run it for a year just to see, because the place is falling down. It's horrible. Air conditioning, heating is going to be ripped out in its entirety, and needs new. It's old. It's how many years is it, Rick? What's the total?
How did you not know that from your first term? This is like a non-important thing, but just like every other important thing too, it's like, how did you not know that your first term? I got it here. I had to run it for a year to see if it was shitty or not, and it's shit.
50,
it's like, who knew? You were in there for 4 years last time.
And we have
Dumbass.
50-year-old air conditioning, more than that actually, and it's in bad shape. Everything's in bad shape. It's got to be redone. So I said, let's run it for a year just to see how it.
The camera here is so low.
Works. It's better than.
Okay, now as I say that, they're moving it up, but they should like zoom the camera out just a little bit and raise it up, because I would personally like to see the entire face of Mike Johnson and this lady, not just half their faces the whole time. And I would like to see just Trump's face should be a little bit more centered on the camera. Just little things that I'm really trying to pick up on and be picky about now that I'm, in the podcast game and whatnot. And I was watching a thing at ESPN the other day, and I forgot what his name is, but he was sitting like real low at the start of the segment, so they had the camera low on him, and then when he raised his chair up, they had to adjust the camera, and then like even after they had it adjusted for 30 seconds, they made like another micro adjustment to like really get his face centered up nice and good. So that kind of brought that back to my focus too. So anyway, just looking at this, I wish they had the camera a little higher.
Go into something, try and figure it out. And we figured it out over the year. And you have to close it, putting new marbles in, beautiful, beautiful marbles. When you do marbles, you can't have people walking over the marble every night as it's drying and setting and going to a play. So we thought the best way, what I know best in the world is construction. The digitally built, it was good. It has one thing that's very good. It has great sound.
I'm going to skip this because he's just talking about sound and then the marble pillars and how he paints them white with a really good white paint, stuff that's not really that important at all.
And we're doing, a lot of it has to do with the stones, and the soon gain, I think, at a higher level than it had before. Together we're going to ensure it remains the finest and will become the finest performing arts facility. A very powerful white paint meant for steel, exposed steel. I've never been able to make a gold paint that looks actually. These are comments that are holding up a bill. You do a good job, but if I don't think you will do a good job, typically you will fire him immediately, Bob. Do you ever let them stay around for 4 or 5 years if they're bad? Not too many times, right? So, anyway, I learned from him. So I want to thank also Attorney General Pam. He's got a majority of 2. I don't like to say 1 because it varies, but between 1, 2, and 3. And I think you're the only man that's ever lived that's able to be very happy about it. In fact, when we get up to 3, every once in a while we get up to 3. Actually, for a period of time, we had it up to 4. And then we had a death. And death is very bad when you're the speaker and you have a majority of 2 or 3. But we had a death, and then we had another death, and we had some things, and but we're looking very strong. We had one man who was very ill. It looked like he wasn't going to make it. I don't know. I won't mention his name. Should I? Do other people know his name? Do you want to mention it? He'll be proud. Go ahead. Tell him the story.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. President.
Look at him.
Congressman Neil Dunn of Florida had some real health challenges, and it was very serious, and had a pretty grim diagnosis. And I mentioned it to the president, and I said, Congressman Dunn is a real champion and a patriot because he's still coming to work. And if others got this diagnosis, they would be apt to go home and retire. And
what was the diagnosis?
It was, I think it was a terminal diagnosis.
He would be dead by June.
Okay, that wasn't public, but yeah, okay. That's it was grim. That's what I was going to say. I don't think
with a heart problem, by the way. This was a heart problem.
So, the long story short, the president called him to encourage him and thank him, and they had.
Look how happy he is! Yeah, I saved somebody. He's thinking to himself, yeah, this guy was going to die within less than a year. And look, man, we got him taken care of because the rest of the story is like kind of wild. Look at Trump. Look how happy he is.
And that's what I was going to say.
The guy is in like great condition, supposedly better than ever, as they're going to say here in a minute. So look how happy Trump is that he like almost feels like he saved somebody. Watch
I don't think
with a heart problem, by the way. This was a heart problem.
So, the long story short, the president called him to encourage him and thank him, and they had a conversation. And the president mentioned in the course of the conversation, you know how to get my doctors involved, and they did. And within a number of hours, they took him to Walter Reed Emergency Surgery. The man has a new lease on life. He acts like he's 30 years younger, and he walked into the conference meeting, and we thought we'd seen a ghost. And I spoke with him over the weekend, and he's encouraged and
I bet you did.
Thankful, and he thanks the president for his leadership and intervention. And thank you.
He actually
they pumped some of that baby blood into him.
called Mike. Mike called me and he said, "Sir, we're up by 3, but we're going to lose 1 by June." I said, "Who?" Neil Dunn. He's a great congressman. Incredible. He called to say that he was terminal, really bad heart. There's nothing they can do.
We took some of that baby blood from Epstein Island, put a new heart in him. Good as new.
So that's bad. Number 1, it was bad because I liked him. Number 2, it was bad because I needed his vote. But he really said, "Mike, I'm going to last this out for the president and you, and however long I live," I mean, it looks like June is the time, but however long I live, I'm going to be voting for you. I mean, how many people are going to say that? Most of them are going to say, "Mike, I'm retiring immediately. That's the end."
He's an extraordinary
But
man.
he didn't do that. It was really impressive. And then I realized I have doctors in the White House. The White House doctors are incredible. And they've helped me with other people. They're helping me with people right now. People that are very sick are like they're miracle workers. And I said, I have to call them. And I called the 2 doctors. They're both great. And they immediately went over to see the congressman. And he was on the operating table like 2 hours later.
Yeah.
And it was a long operation. They gave him more stents and more everything that you could have. I think he's got everything that you could possibly have. And they called up. They said, "Sir, I think he'll be fine." I said, "You got to be kidding." He said, "I think he'll be fine." And Mike was telling me the story that the other day he came into a meeting for the first time in a long while. Go ahead.
Well, it was incredible. I mean, he has a new lease on life. He has more energy than a man half his age, and very encouraged and encouraged all of us. So, again, a testament to great leadership. And,
What would do that to somebody?
My hat's off to Neil Dunn and his beautiful wife and family. He's an extraordinary individual.
And just, because I don't want to have a terrible story about this, I did it for him first and for the vote second. But it was a close second, actually. But I did it for the vote second. All right? I want to also introduce Susie Wiles, who's fantastic. She's our chief of staff. And she's an amazing person, an amazing fighter. And she announced a minor difficulty, which will be in good shape. Good shape for, he'll be around for a long time. She had a diagnosis, you probably saw it. And she's going to take care of it immediately, as opposed to waiting. She said, "Let's do it now." I said, "Do it immediately." Because with that particular ailment, the faster the better. That's the only thing I know about it. The faster the better. She's going to do it immediately. So she just started, actually. And she's going to be in great shape. The prognosis there is excellent, beyond excellent. So, thank you, sir. But who needs it, right? That's right. Who needs it? So before we took over, just a year ago, the legendary, this wonderful place was on the verge of, literally on the verge of collapse, both from a financial standpoint, maybe more from a financial standpoint, but also from a physical standpoint. Necessary maintenance has been ignored. The programming was very woke and out of touch with reality. And we had
we're still pretty out of touch, aren't we?
An orchestra that lost like $18 million a year, and they subsidized it every year. So what kind of unions put on a play? They had to deal with 19 different groups of people. And it's they say it was like Broadway, but worse. And you don't get worse than Broadway when it comes to the unions. I've watched that for many years. The programming was terrible. And they had a budget deficit of about $26 million minimum, owed a lot of money, were out borrowing money, which is a lot of people don't understand. So under the leadership of this exceptionally talented and rich board, it's a very rich board, not everybody, but most of you are loaded. Ike Perlmutter's got so much money. Look at Ike Perlmutter. He ended up being the largest owner of Disney. Started with, was it $100 or less? It was a little less, Ike, right? He didn't speak English, and he became the largest owner of Disney, right? But then they went woke, and he sold the stock. He didn't like Mickey Mouse being woke, right, Ike? But he's one of the most brilliant business people. Thank you, Ike. It's great. And Lori, thank you very much for being here. So I think it's Lori that's on the board, though, right, Lori? What's with these husbands? All the husbands are traveling. I think it's the White House. I got all the husbands with the wives. That's never happened. Boy, oh boy, what great relationships. My wife is going to have to speak to me. This is pretty good. The biggest guys in the country travel with their wives to come to a meeting. But it has something to do with the White House, right, Ike? Right? You don't want to see me. You want to see the White House because it's a special building. But thank you. And congratulations on an amazing career. Most people don't know Ike Perlmutter. Isidore Perlmutter, and started with nothing and built a vast fortune just by deal after deal. Did you ever have a bad deal, Ike? Which was that? Don't tell. See how honest he is? Most people would say no. He says one, and it couldn't have been very bad. Great to have you.
I feel like he said some more good stuff, but maybe I'm tripping.
So under the leadership, which was double what they had ever done before, with $23 million, to board approval, we determined that the fastest way to bring the would never have given it, except I asked them to give. So, Rick, I think you have that. And we have a tremendous number of things. We have the Olympics, we have the World Cup, and we have the 250. And as you know, I was responsible for getting the Olympics. Actually, Bob Kraft send some ships over, and he really didn't want to do it. I said, you don't want to do it. We've been with you. You're our oldest ally, and we spend a lot of money on, NATO and all of these things to protect you. I mean, we're protecting them. We're working with them on Ukraine. Ukraine's thousands of miles away, separated by a vast ocean. We don't have to do that, but we did it. Well, Biden did it. I mean, I have to be honest with you. Biden got taken to the cleaners. But we worked with them in Ukraine. We don't need to work with them in Ukraine. And then they tell us that we have a mine ship around, and they don't want to do it. I think it's terrible. No, I was very surprised. I told him, we requested 2 aircraft carriers, which they had, and he didn't really want to do it. And then right after the war essentially ended, meaning they were obliterated, he said, I would like to send the aircraft carriers. I said, I don't need them after the war has ended and won. I need it before the war. So I was very upset not upset, I was not happy with the UK. I think they'll be involved, yeah, maybe. But they should be involved enthusiastically. We've been protecting these countries for years with NATO, because NATO is us. You can ask Putin. Putin fears us. He has no fear of Europe whatsoever. He fears the United States of America and the military that was built by me in the first term. Yeah.
Let me go back to when he started accepting questions. I forgot that he started taking questions.
And then I tried to claim.
Hold on.
All right, but I have India, the Ellison family surrounded, but because of, let's see what happens. And then they rigged the election, and I said, let's do it again. And we won it. I tried to quickly. That wasn't working. It wasn't working. But I just want to thank everybody. This board has been our meeting, and we have a little lunch for the board. So
nice. Okay, I knew there was more to. I was like, is this just another 30 minutes of him just kissing these people at this board's ass? Okay, now he gets into questions from the media here. Okay, so there was about 20 minutes of fluff in the middle, but we got through it.
And it's an honor to have you all here. It's
hopefully
so many of you, Jimmy, so many of you are friends. It's a great honor to have you.
Thank you for the question. Numerous countries have told me they are on their way. Can you give us a hint what they are, what that entails, how soon they might be there?
You mean who are the countries?
Yes, sir.
I'd rather not say yet, but we'll be announcing Marco Rubio and the various people that are doing that. We'll be announcing. And I have to tell you, we have some that are really enthusiastic. They're coming already. They've already started to.
Get in the comments in the live chat. Let me know if y'all like the closed captions or not.
Get there. It takes a little while to get there. It's like, in some cases, you have to travel an ocean. So it doesn't go that fast, but it'll go fast. And we have some that are fairly local that are doing it. But we'll give you a list. Some are very enthusiastic, and some are less than enthusiastic. And I assume some will not do it. I think we have 1 or 2 that will not do it that we've been protecting for about 40 years at, tens of billions of dollars, Mr. Speaker. So I'll be reporting that to you in the House and the Senate. And I'll say, why are we protecting countries that don't protect us? And I've always felt that was a weakness of NATO. We were going to protect them. But I always said, when in need, they won't protect us. Now, this isn't need. Need would be one of the big boys. But I will say that,
what does that mean?
We built the greatest military in the world, and we protect people. And if we need their mine boats, or if we need anything, any piece of apparatus that they may have because of a situation that they have, they should be jumping to help us, because we've helped them for years stay out of wars. Yeah, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Can you tell us if you have spoken with French President Macron about the coalition to reopen the Strait of Hormuz? Have you been speaking with the French President?
What does that mean?
Have you been speaking with the French President Macron about the coalition to reopen the Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah, I have spoken to him. He's been, on a scale of 0 to 10, I'd say he's been an 8. Not perfect, but it's France. We don't expect perfect.
Are you confident that France will help with the reopening of Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I think he's going to help. I mean, I'll let you know. I spoke to him yesterday. I don't do a hard sell on them because my attitude is we don't need anybody. We're the strongest nation in the world. We have the strongest military by far in the world. We don't need them. But it's interesting. I'm almost doing it in some cases, not because we need them, but because I want to find out how they react. Because I've been saying for years that if we ever did need them, they won't be there. Not all of them, but they won't be there. I was very surprised with the United Kingdom, because the United Kingdom, 2 weeks ago, I said, why don't you send some ships over? And he really didn't want to do it. I said, you don't want to do it. We've been with you. You're our oldest ally. And we spend a lot of money on, NATO and all of these things to protect you. I mean, we're protecting them. We're working with them on Ukraine. Ukraine's thousands of miles away, separated by a vast ocean.
So is Iran. So what's the difference?
We don't have to do that, but we did it. Well, Biden did it. I mean, I have to be honest with you. Biden got taken to the cleaners. But we worked with them in Ukraine. We don't need to work with them in Ukraine. And then they tell us that we have a mine ship around, and they don't want to do it. I think it's terrible. No, I was very surprised. I told him, we requested 2 aircraft carriers, which they had, and he didn't really want to do it. And then right after the war essentially ended, meaning they were obliterated, he said, I would like to send the aircraft carriers. I said, I don't need them after the war has ended and won. I need it before the war. So I was very not upset, I was not happy with the UK. I think they'll be involved, yeah, maybe. But they should be involved enthusiastically. We've been protecting these countries for years with NATO, because NATO is us. You can ask Putin. Putin fears us. He has no fear of Europe whatsoever. He fears the United States of America and the military that was built by me in the first term. Yeah.
President, you mentioned the significant amount of oil that China derives from the Middle East. What is the status of your conversation with President Xi in terms of getting China to cooperate, in terms of making the Strait of Hormuz safe for those oil tankers?
Yeah, so China is a great example. They get 91% of their oil from the Hormuz Straits, which we protected for years. And it always bothered me that we have these countries. Japan gets 95% of its from the Straits, the Hormuz Straits. And it always bothered me that we're protecting and we don't need them. We didn't need them before we started dig we must. Dig we must, that's the Trump policy of lots of oil. And
dig we must.
We didn't use them very much. It used to be at 10%. Now it's at almost 0. We don't need, we don't need oil. We have all the oil we need for ourselves. It's one of the great assets that we have. We have more than double what anybody else in terms of oil production. We're at more than double any other country. So we don't need it, but we did it. It's almost, you could say we did it out of habit, which is not a good thing to do. But we did it because we have some good allies there. We have some great Middle Eastern countries there, Israel there. So we did it for a lot of reasons. But it always amazed me that we did it. We never asked for reimbursement. And it was really there to serve other countries, not us. And by the way, we have the Sugar King. Same story. Look at that. Alfie von Hool. Alfie, thank you both very much. Huh? That's Pepe, yeah. Pepe. Hi, Pepe. How are you? How are you? Is Alfie in the backstage? Huh? Is he sitting back there waiting for you? No? You doing all right? Pepe is a great friend of all of ours, I think, in the room. Tremendous. And we appreciate you being here. Great to have you. Thank you.
Mr. President, honored.
That's great. Both of you, thank you very much. So go ahead, please.
Mr. President, you've said that Iran does want to make a deal. Now, into the 3rd week of this bombing campaign, what would that deal look like? What are the asks that you're making of the government?
They want to make a deal. They're talking to our people. I don't know if they say that to you. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Don't forget, They are a country that for years, I didn't know this until recently, they're a country based on disinformation. And now they're using disinformation.
No. How did you not know that? Didn't he say at the beginning of this thing that he predicted Osama bin Laden, he predicted 9/11, he predicted Iran for 20 years, he's been criticizing them, but you didn't know, and you've been knowing about the fake news for a long time, but you didn't know that Iran was a country of disinformation? Dude, no, not buying it.
They are a country that for years, I didn't know this until recently, they're a country based on disinformation. And now they're using disinformation.
Wow, he's like a fucking prophet in all these other areas. He predicted this, told you so about that, told you about this. He's a fucking know-it-all. But he didn't know they were a country of disinformation? Dude. Nope.
Information plus AI. And that's a terrible situation. They showed all sorts of things happening in the last 2 weeks that never happened. Between the kamikaze boats that don't exist, between blowing up the aircraft carrier, one of the great ships in the world, the Abraham Lincoln, on fire. They showed it on fire. I called the general. I said, General, what's with the Abraham Lincoln? It looks like it's burning down. No, it's not burning down. Not a bullet was ever fired at it, sir. They know better. I said, this is my first glimpse of AI and what they've done with it. They showed buildings in Tel Aviv burning to the ground, high-rises burning. They showed buildings in Qatar. They showed buildings in Saudi Arabia burning, and they weren't burning.
That's dangerous now because even if we do see things that are in our own country that are, like, let's say Israel does get hit or America does get hit, they could just lie and say, oh, that was AI. It's all good over here. Don't worry. It's like, how do we even know we can trust our own country if Trump lies more than he tells the truth and he lies at every turn? If you don't know that or don't believe that, catch up. What the fuck are we supposed to do if our own country, he's accusing Iran, but we could just as easily use AI. We've seen Trump use AI. He knows about AI. He's claiming this is the first time he's seen Iran use it, but this is not the first time he's known about it or seen it, surely. If our own country gets hit or takes a loss, or what if that ship did get hit and now we're just claiming, oh, that was AI by Iran, ship's all good over here. It's like, how do we know we can trust you? We can't. So that's not good. And as we're going to cover maybe a little bit later, our country is starting to, kind of like they did during COVID, up the censorship a little bit. And you kind of got to be careful what you say in terms of this war. And it really depends on how far your voice travels and how big of an audience you have. So probably not as much in danger on this channel, hopefully. But like Tucker Carlson is, I think he's controlled opposition anyway. And that's a whole other discussion. But they're really limiting him right now and trying to curtail what he's saying, and he's their big, kind of like Alex Jones was during Sandy Hook about we want to shame you and set the parameter for like what we're gonna allow in terms of questioning school shootings, and we're gonna use you as the lapdog, so to speak, or like the example. That's what they're doing to Tucker Carlson. Like, okay, no, we're gonna lash you as the example and set the parameter of what we're willing to accept as far as saying things about this war. So anyway, it's kind of scary with AI and not being able to trust our government more than ever, and then them limiting other people's speech during a time of war especially is not a good feeling.
They weren't hit. It was all AI based. Terrible. It's terrible. And that's their only, I think that's the only thing they do well. They're negotiating. And we always talk. When, somebody said, well, would you talk? Why would you even talk to them? I talk to everybody because sometimes good things come out of it. But I don't know if they're ready yet. They're taking a pounding. I don't know if they're ready yet. And we don't even know their leaders. Look, all of their leaders are dead, as far as we know. But they're all dead. We don't know who we're dealing with. We knocked out the first group. Then the second group met 88 to pick the leader because the first group was all dead, and the second group got knocked out. They're all dead. Then the third group met. I would think they're a little nervous about meeting. I don't know if they're nervous. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're crazy. If they're not nervous, then they're crazy. But we met with the next group, and but we don't know who their leader is. We have people wanting to negotiate. We have no idea who they are.
Come on now, Trumpy.
Yeah, please, Peter.
I find that impossible to believe that we've knocked out their top, let's just say 50 or 75 top political and military leaders. We have zero idea who the next people are that we're going to potentially target or watching or that we're keeping an eye on. Don't buy it for a fucking second, dude.
President Trump, what are your advisors telling you about the Ayatollah's son, the new supreme leader? What are they telling you
Well,
about
it's
him?
not only them, it's you people. I mean, a lot of people are saying that he's badly disfigured. They're saying that he lost his leg, one leg, and he's been hurt very badly. Other people are saying he's dead. Nobody's saying he's 100% healthy. And he hasn't spoken because the Ayatollah would sit and he'd spew hate from a form of a throne. Not as nice as a throne. I like the English throne much better. But it was a fancy chair. But he'd spew hate from his chair. But you see him a lot, right? This one, we haven't seen at all. So that could be for a lot of different reasons. We don't know, Peter, if he's dead or not.
Now that you've announced,
I will say this, nobody's seen him, which is unusual.
something else. Now that you've announced that the U.S. has destroyed all of Iran's mine-laying ships, why can't the U.S. just immediately reopen the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, we could, but it takes two to tango. We have to get people to take their billion-dollar ship and drive.
I think that's something that I saw Myron talk about, and something I think I covered in the last stream, but if not, we'll go ahead and touch on it here. He's touching on it. These ships have to have insurance companies that are willing to insure their ships, and the insurance company is like, fuck no if you're going through there right now. Or the insurance is like sky high. So a guarantee from the United States, even if you're willing to risk it as yourself, the insurance companies are not. And so the companies at the top are like, we're not going to pay you if you go through there because, like, I don't know, at some point, I don't know how it's all breaking down really. I was about to say things that I don't even know for true, but at some point, because the insurance companies either don't want to at all or are going to charge like triple or way more than normal, someone at some point on the chain of command is like, well, we can't do it. Fuck no. So no one's going through right now, even though we've guaranteed their safety.
It up. If when Pepe has his big sugar ships coming around and they cost $1 billion, and we say, I think it's okay now, Pepe, take your ship, drive it through the Strait of Hormuz. He may say, let me wait a little while, because it takes ship owners, and these ships are very expensive. They could cost up to $2 billion. So they don't want to take a chance that, gee, I think you'll be okay. They got to know it. So they don't have to set, we don't know if they even set any mines. But the thought that they may have.
Dude, how the fuck do we have the most powerful military in the world by far, and we don't know if they set any mines? We don't have any submarines to go down there and check shit out with radar. We don't have anything more advanced than the 1940s to check out what the fuck's going on. I don't buy it, dude. Something doesn't add up with that. We don't know if they've set any mines at all. What the fuck is going on? If that's the truth and there's sleeper cell agents from Iran over here, how the fuck are y'all gonna catch them? If y'all been looking for Nancy Guthrie for a month, that's 2 months old now, but if y'all spent all of January looking for a 90-year-old woman and y'all couldn't find her with y'all's full dedication, how the fuck are y'all gonna find sleeper cell agents over here? How the fuck can we rely on y'all to do y'all's job? I mean, come on, this is fucking ridiculous.
Is enough to keep people from saying we don't need it. Now, we are pounding that area, that coast, as you know, left side. We're pounding it, like really pounding it hard.
Wow.
And again, they may have no mindset. We hit every one of their mine drop. They call it the mine layers, right? The ships. They're pretty sophisticated ships. Every one of them is gone. But it only takes one. So it's a little unfair. You win a war, but they have no right to be doing what they're doing. But we're hitting them very hard. And today is a big day where we're pounding a certain area that has very much to do with the strait. And I think we'll get it going very soon. In addition, we do have other nations coming in. You need people to watch and people to see. We have other nations coming in. Yes, please.
If the United States is working to secure the Strait of Hormuz for the benefit of other countries like China, and our allies aren't yet stepping up to your standard, is the United States getting back to being the world's policeman?
Look, the United States should not be very much involved. They can on a certain basis. They've been doing it for a long time. But I've always said, if you look back years ago, I said, why aren't we being reimbursed? You know, these are the richest countries in the world. Why aren't we being reimbursed for maintaining the Hormuz Strait? And why aren't we being reimbursed for that? I've said that for years. You can go back. They reported on it yesterday. I've been saying a lot of things about the Straits. Number one, I said it's the one advantage they have, but that's a suicidal advantage because they kill themselves more than they kill the rest of the world. And there are things you can do with time. There are other things you can do. But I think we're going to have the situation straightened out pretty quickly, and I think we're going to have some good help, and I think we're going to be disappointed in some nations too. And I'll let you know who those nations are.
One of your advisors, David Sachs, said the other week that the U.S. should, quote, declare victory and get out of the Iran war.
Yeah,
he also warned that if the conflict escalates, Israel may contemplate the use of a nuclear weapon. Has he shared that assessment with you?
No, yes. And Israel wouldn't do that. Israel would never do that. And, there's a theory.
Oh, shit. I don't think anyone would use a nuke, but I would think Israel would do anything else up to that point. Don't put almost anything, everything but that. I would say that's off the table, but anything else, don't put it past them.
You pounded them to hell, and you could just leave now, and it'll take 10 years for them to build back not nearly what they have right now. And I guess that's another theory, but we want to have it ended so that another president doesn't have. Look, for 47 years, no president was willing to do what I'm doing, and they should have done it a long time ago. It would have been a lot easier. There's no president that wanted to do it. And yet every president knew. I've spoken to a certain...
Not even past you, huh? How come your old bitch ass didn't do it in 2016? Not even past Trump wanted to do it. It was such a big fucking deal. You didn't do it before. What a fucking revelation. Fuck you, Trump.
President, who I like, actually, a past president, former president, he said, I wish I did it. I wish I did. But they didn't do it. I'm doing it. Yeah. I can't tell you that. I don't want to embarrass him. It would be very bad for his career, even though he's got no career left. Go ahead, please.
You mentioned.
How about the man right
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, you mentioned that you're not entirely sure who you're dealing with, who the leadership is in Iran. Do you see a viable opposition movement still in that country following all of the protests that we had seen before the airstrikes and kind of an opposition movement that could become a viable leader in Iran?
Well, the biggest problem, and, we have brave people in this room, but the biggest problem that I see is that, they put out a warning, and we have the warning. We get everything they get. And it said any protester that goes onto the street will be immediately shot and killed. This is a little tougher than the American way. This is not quite as tough as, nobody can believe it. So I can't imagine, they don't have guns. And the other ones have guns. Highly sophisticated machine guns and AK-47s and other kinds of guns. And they did that with the women. So the women had 250,000, even 500 people protesting a year ago. And they shot women right through the middle of the forehead with snipers. And they didn't have to do many. About 10 went down, bleeding profusely.
Is he going to say anything else relevant?
And they have no gun. It doesn't take long for the minimum to be killed. I don't think so. Tell me that. I know what it is. The Prime Minister of UK, United Kingdom, yesterday told me, I'm meeting with my team to make a determination. I said, you don't need to meet it with the team. You're the Prime Minister. You can make your own. Why do you have to meet with your team to find out whether or not you're going to send some minesweepers to us or to send some boats? I said, you don't have to meet with your...
Bro, like you didn't meet with Rubio and Pete Hegseth and all your fucking people to decide about what you were going to do and all your 5-star generals to decide how you're going to execute this war. You just did it? Get the fuck out of here, bro. Why do you need to meet with anyone? You just do it. No. That's not even how you do it. That's not how it works, bro. Come on, dude.
It's the same thing here. I can tell you that.
Dude, that's a good one. I impressed myself with that. If Trump says every president in the past should have done this, it was such a big deal, it should have been done for 47 years, it's so fucking obvious. I know, I've known it. How come yourself didn't do it? In 2016 through 2020, you had 4 years, motherfucker. Not a peep. Not a fucking peep about this shit. Maybe a peep, but it definitely wasn't one of his top things. Nobody, we would have heard about that shit. He was so vocal. Everything he wanted us to hear about, we heard about. Why come you didn't attack him back then? You're so full of shit.
When this is over, oil prices are going to go down very, very rapidly. So is inflation, so is everything else. But frankly, much more important than short-term, even long-term oil prices, you can't let the most violent, vicious country in the last 50 years have a nuclear weapon. Because the Middle East will be gone, Israel will go first, without question, and they'll certainly take a shot at us before we get our act together and say we got to take them out. You can't let Iran, who's truly a nation of great terror and power. Look what happened. In the last 2 weeks, they weren't supposed to go after all these other countries in the Middle East. Those missiles were set to go after them. So they hit Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE,
such bullshit.
Bahrain, Kuwait. Nobody expected that. We were shocked. And the other one, they fought back. They could have yielded. But think of it, if we weren't around, they had tremendous power. They had thousands of missiles, most of which we've terminated. They had thousands of drones. They were making drones and missiles all over the place. We've knocked out most of those factories. I mean, now they're sending out 2 or 3 missiles. Now, they've still got some. They might have 8% left. But mostly they've been eliminated. They've been terminated by what we did and what Israel did, too. Yeah, please.
Israel is expected to expand its ground offensive in southern Lebanon to go after Hezbollah. Have you discussed that with Israeli leaders?
Yeah.
And does the United States support...
that's barely on our news. Israel's doing ground war. Like, people that in my family and people that I know that don't keep up with this shit and don't really know, and it's not like one of the big things on the news, they don't know that Israel's doing ground movement with them and Israel striking other countries over there and that Iran's striking other countries and all the ins and outs of stuff that's not really on the news all the time. You got to really dig deep and follow people that are tapped into the war to know everything that's going on. There's strikes back and forth. We don't even know. I'm even out of the loop sometimes. So, I've heard Yemen might be getting in, every week. It's like they're dancing around maybe getting in. I heard that'd be a big thing for their ability to strike ships. Supposedly their army is really good at that. So you don't hear really that on the mainstream. So all this stuff that's really going on in the developments of this war, where Trump wants you to think small little operation, no big deal. It's like, dude, this is dragging on and on and on, and not just a small operation, not just a small deal.
Israeli invasion of Lebanon.
Yeah, no, I did, and I know though. Look, Hezbollah is a problem. It's been a problem for a long time, not just now. And it's a certain area, because I was with the other night a person whose parents live in Lebanon. This is a very substantial person, wealthy person, whose parents live in Lebanon. I said, really? How do you live in Lebanon? Your parents are living? Oh, yeah, they live there. And over the years, they've gotten used to the fact that it's being bombed. But they explained to me that it's really a different section of Lebanon. It's the section where Hezbollah is. And they get used to it, I guess. I don't know. I mean, people live in Ukraine. You would think they wouldn't live in Ukraine, but they live in Ukraine. I don't know that I'd do that, but they live in Ukraine. They live in Lebanon. Hezbollah is a big problem, and they're rapidly being eliminated. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it.
Cool. Well, that video was pretty good. Had some good moments in it. Let's move on to our next thing. We're not going to watch much of this.
In fact, I got angry at my people. I said, are they any good? Yeah, they're warships. I said, why the hell did we kill them? Why didn't we just capture them and use them in our Navy? They said they wouldn't have qualified for that. But I got a little upset with my people. I said, why do we have to knock them? And actually, one of my generals said, sir, it's a lot more fun doing it this way. But we knocked out 58 naval ships. We knocked out their Navy, okay? Let's put it that way. But they also knocked out the mine layers. They call them mine layers. They put mines in the water. Lovely job. Isn't that nice? Blow up ships. And we knocked out 31 of them. And I was very proud of myself. I said, why didn't you use the weapon that we use on the drugs that come in by sea? Do you know that drugs by sea are down 98%?
Anyway, I didn't have anything from this I wanted to see. I just thought it was he did a podcast with Jake Paul, and then I think he brought him out here. Let's see that.
Well, come on, you got to come. This guy has guts. And he walked out with a broken jaw. Anyway, this was not the greatest fight. But you know what it showed? Lots of courage. Come here, Jake. Say these are your people.
Yeah, what Mr. Trump has taught me is courage. We never back down from a fight, even if they're much bigger than you, much, much bigger than you. And I feel all the local Kentuckians feel the same way. You guys have that fight. You guys have that swag. There's a lot of young kids in here. The future of America. I grew up just a few hours away from here, and my dad taught me to fight. And all of our voices matter in America. And I'm never afraid to speak the truth, and I know you guys aren't. We hear.
You're so full of shit. You are afraid to speak the truth. Politics is fucking garbage. These people worship demons. Politics lie, and they're okay with murder in war. Dude, look at Trump. He is a fucking scumbag. Piece of shit. Jake, you do everything for money and the fame. You have a chance to do good stuff, but dude, I would speak the truth. Dude, you're garbage. You had Trump one-on-one in an interview. Maybe I'll cover that tomorrow within the next few days. Dude, it was the most softball patty cake dick sucking interview ever. Trump is not a hero. He's a fucking faggot. Fuck Trump. You should have grilled his ass. You have a one-on-one with that coward. We have a chance to speak the truth. Shut the fuck up. I wish I could break your jaw.
We're away from here, and my dad taught me to. You guys have that fight. You guys have that swag. There's a lot of young kids in here. The future of America. I grew up just a few hours away from here, and my dad taught me to fight. And all of our voices matter in America. And I'm never afraid to speak the truth, and I know you guys aren't.
You don't know the truth from your fucking ass. You don't know. Come here from Sikkim.
We are here representing the United States, and it's just a blessing. Thank you, Mr. Trump.
And you're doing a piss poor job. Fuck off. I can't believe I was wasting. I can't believe I'm glad whoa. Who is this person behind him? Looks like a real retard. Those people look fake behind him. Jeez, is this the ugly place they're at? Anyway, what I was trying to say is I can't believe Trump. If you believe that he's actually planning for a war and part of that shit, that he had time to waste with Jake Paul in a whole 30-minute interview they had. But anyway, let's move on to the next video we got.
The site of critical Iranian oil infrastructure has been totally demolished by US bombing, as he claimed that Iran wanted to negotiate a ceasefire. During a call with NBC News on Saturday, Trump boasted that the US military totally demolished the island, adding that we may hit it a few more times just for fun. According to the Pentagon, the US military used $11.3 billion worth of ammunition in the first week of the war in Iran. Trump also told NBC News in a 30-minute telephone interview that Iran wanted to negotiate a ceasefire, but said that he had not agreed because the terms aren't good enough yet. He did not give details on the supposed offer or what he would consider acceptable, except to say that any deal needed to be very solid and would involve Iran committing not to build a nuclear weapon. The president also questioned whether Iran's new supreme leader is even alive, and said he was surprised that Iran had attacked its neighbors in the wake of a joint US-Israeli bombing campaign. He has called for other countries, including the UK, France and Japan, to send ships to keep the Strait of Hormuz open for oil trade.
Alright, the video was okay, but my homie said there was a development like today that was real recent. I was trying to find Trump's latest tweet, but I don't know how to use Twitter good enough because I'm a fool. Old head really kicking in. Bro, I want the most recent shit. fuck, bro. Shouldn't it just be the most recent shit that is the newest? Maybe that's a True Social post that my homie sent. I think it is, and I don't fucking have True Social. Hold on. I don't even think they have it. It's so new. Here we go. Israel, out of anger for what has taken place in the Middle East, has violently lashed out at a major facility known as South Pars gas field in Iran. Excuse me. I don't know why I said it like that. Said it weird earlier too. See if I can zoom in. I was trying this out the other day. There we go. There we go. Okay. Israel, out of anger for what has taken place in the Middle East, has violently lashed out at a major facility known as South Pars gas field in Iran. A relatively small section of the whole has been hit. The United States knew nothing about the particular attack, and the country of Qatar was in no way, shape, or form involved with it, nor did it have any idea that it was going to happen. Unfortunately, Iran did not know this or any of the pertinent facts pertaining to the South Pars attack and unjustifiably and unfairly attacked a portion of Qatar's LNG gas facility. No more attacks will be made by Israel pertaining to this extremely important and valuable South Pars field unless Iran unwisely decides to attack a very innocent, in this case Qatar, in which instance the United States of America, with or without the help or consent of Israel, will massively blow up the entirety of the South Pars gas field in an amount of strength and power that Iran has never seen or witnessed before. What the hell is going on, dude? Oh. What the hell? He thinks he's taking over everything. I like how he's saying Israel did this without our consent. But if Iran retaliates, it doesn't matter what Israel says. We're just going to go full force and blow the whole fucking thing up. It's like, oh my goodness. I do not want to authorize this level of violence and destruction because of the long-term implications that it will have on the future of Iran. But if Qatar's LNG is attacked again, I will not hesitate to do so. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump. I don't remember who it was, but I was watching a video the other day on somebody talking about stuff. I think it was Dr. Jang and Schneeko, and he was saying that the United States kind of strikes preemptively to stop Israel from unleashing their full force because the United States is like, they think Israel will go like too far and too hard on stuff. So that kind of seems like what this tweet is agreeing with. He's saying Israel out of anger struck Pars. And then he tries to say, unfortunately, Israel did not know Qatar was part of this. No more attacks will be made by Israel. It's like, dude, you're trying to tell them, boss them around. And then he says, if Iran does anything, regardless of consent by Israel, we will attack. It's like, what the heck, dude? He's going unhinged. So this is pretty new. This is as of today, for sure. I'm not sure exactly how new. Don't know how to find it. Oh, March 18th. This is an hour ago today. Wow. So this is very new. Sick. This is from yesterday. Let's see what this little update is.
The time in Israel is about 2:40 in the morning.
This is too long. I want a quick update here.
6 U.S. service members return home from...
This video is 2 hours old.
From the Middle East, President Donald Trump there to salute the remains as they arrived at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. The crew members of an Air Force KC-135 refueling aircraft were killed last week when the plane crashed in western Iraq. Today, U.S. intelligence officials appearing on Capitol Hill answering questions about Iran amid a major escalation in the war. ABC's Olivia Rubin has the details.
For the first time since President Trump went to war without congressional approval, his director of national intelligence testifying on Capitol Hill today, giving the latest assessment.
The regime in Iran appears to be intact but largely degraded due to attacks on its leadership and military capabilities.
The testimony just one day after a top counterintelligence official resigned over the war. Joe Kent claims Iran posed, quote, no imminent threat to our nation. Today, Gabbard...
That's an interesting curve, too, that this guy who was... What was his office? He was something about counterterrorism. He said Iran posed no threat. That's interesting, isn't it? One of Trump's cabinet members.
The regime in Iran appears to be intact but largely degraded due to attacks on...
There's so much happening every day. If you don't tune into the news every day, literally like a soap opera, you're going to miss what's going on. And for most people, it's healthy and good for them to miss most of it, but it just goes to show this war is not just a splash in the pan and over. Every day, there's little escalation things, and yeah, that's basically it. It's not over. It's escalating.
Leadership and military capabilities.
The testimony just one day after a top counterintelligence official resigned over the war. Joe Kent claims Iran posed, quote, no imminent threat to our nation. Today, Gabbard dodging the question entirely.
It is not the intelligence community's responsibility to determine what is and is not an imminent threat.
You're evading a question because to provide a candid response to the committee would contradict a statement from the White House.
In Iran today, Israel hitting these gas refineries. Video posted on social media shows smoke and flames filling the sky. In response, Iran warning the Saudis, Qatar, and the UAE to evacuate their energy facilities. Iranian cluster missiles fired at Israel, posing an extra challenge for Israel's air defenses. And in Lebanon, where Israel is taking on the Iranian-backed Hezbollah, powerful Israeli strikes leveling an entire building in Beirut. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, Washington.
That's crazy, dude. They don't really want to show the videos where Israel's getting hit. And there's this guy called Agenda Free TV, and I could be wrong, but me and my homie were watching a live stream the other day, and we just so happened to see a part where Israel got struck. Well, it could have not been. I don't know where it got struck, and I could be wrong about this, but I think he took down a live stream. Either he didn't live stream for 2 days in a row, or he took down a couple live streams. So a lot of I don't knows, but I went back to try to find the stream where the bomb hit on the stream, and there was a couple days, the days I was looking for where I thought it was, where those streams, there's no stream. So either he didn't stream a couple days in a row, or he took down a couple where some bombs hit. And again, I'm not sure which city was hit on the day that I'm talking about. So I was kind of thinking about like a week ago, last Wednesday. But anyway, now we're going to watch a little bit of Tucker and kind of what he has to say about Ted Cruz. I covered this on the podcast, like, I think it was roughly about a year ago when Tucker and Ted Cruz, Tucker had Ted Cruz on his podcast, and they were kind of going at it, verbally sparring. And this is kind of where we are a year later. They still don't like each other, and this is kind of interesting because, as I was kind of alluding to earlier, it's getting to a point where Tucker's saying a lot of things and kind of questioning a lot of things about the war and the religious implications maybe behind it, and maybe the root cause of it are religious, and really kind of just asking a lot of questions that a lot of truthers are asking, and powers that be don't really like it, and they're kind of trying to censor him as a scapegoat to kind of help censor the rest of us, and by I don't know what word I'm trying to use, but you know, by censoring him, they will help them set the bar of what they're going to also use on the rest of us. So anyway, let's hear what he has to say about Ted Cruz and kind of enjoy this banter, and then we'll kind of move on to the rest of it. Damn, my computer's starting to slow down.
Ted Cruz said in his little rant about you.
It's only like 2 years old. Like, it's time to update. I wonder if I should. Hold on, let me see something. Damn, bro, come on. I wonder if I should shut Chrome off and reopen it. Let's do that. Damn, bro. Struggling. No. Let's do that. Give me a second, people. We gonna need a wet floor sign, people. Okay.
There was something else that Ted Cruz said in his little rant.
Let me get that back up for y'all real quick. There we go. Yeah, what's up, Mr. Joe Games? What are you up to? We're just going over the Tucker stuff now, and I was explaining how he's being censored, and kind of comparing it to how Alex Jones, when he questioned the school shootings in Sandy Hook, they kind of like banned him from everywhere and kind of used him as a scapegoat, and then by proxy, I don't know if that's the right word, but like after that, they basically set the line of like what they were going to allow to be questioned and didn't let anyone else cross that line either, so to speak. Same thing for Tucker now. They're kind of setting a line of like what they're going to allow to be questioned, at least on a large scale.
About you. He said, Tucker says there's no one on planet Earth he hates more than Christian Zionists. And he blamed in particular me and Mike Huckabee as objects of his ire. And I wear that as a badge of honor. I mean, is that true? Are these the two people you hate most on planet Earth? And is it because they're Christian Zionists?
I wouldn't say, well, first of all, I think Christian Zionist would be an upgrade for Ted Cruz, who couldn't name the book of the Bible he said his theology came from. So I don't think Christianity, even in its perverted Zionist form, informs any opinion that Ted Cruz has, assuming he has authentic opinions. So that would be a compliment to call him a Christian Zionist. He's beneath that. I would say I criticize Shapiro and Levin for losing control of their emotions. I lost control of mine when I said that. I shouldn't have said that. I've apologized for it repeatedly. I'll do so again. I'm sorry that I said that, because I don't hate Christian Zionists. I'm deeply frustrated with some evangelical leaders who are not preaching Christianity, but some sick, weird, culty version of it that puts Benjamin Netanyahu ahead of Jesus. And that's not Christianity. It's totally wrong. And some of them are quite ruthless, I've learned personally. Franklin Graham, for example. I went in to see Trump. And Trump says, I just got a letter from Franklin Graham calling you an anti-Semite. Franklin Graham, an anti-Semite, really? Yes, and it's right here. He showed it to me. So I leave the meeting, and I immediately call Franklin Graham. Like, what? Why would you call me an anti-Semite? And why didn't you call me first? If you think I'm an anti-Semite, wouldn't you want to persuade me not to be? Because that's a pretty ugly thing to be. And as a Christian, as a fellow Christian, you want to talk. He wouldn't take my call. I went back and forth texting with his assistant like all day. Well, when can I speak to him? Maybe next week. He's learning to be a private pilot. I'm like, he's 74. He doesn't have time to at least account for a letter that he sent to Trump calling me an anti-Semite and telling Trump never to talk to me again. I'm like, that behavior is so unchristian and so low, so sneaky, so dishonest that it offends me as a Christian to see it conducted in the name of Jesus. I just think that that's really wrong. I don't think I have a monopoly on the truth. I don't think I'm a very good Christian. I'm not. But I don't think that's Christianity. I just don't. And I'm sorry that it makes Ted Cruz mad. As for Ted Cruz, he says he's running against me for president. I almost want to run for president just to debate Ted Cruz, because I think
Please
it would
do
go about the way it went last time. And for my part, I deeply enjoyed it, which is why I've never tweeted about it, because I just keep that little spark of joy inside me for rainy days. And I think about that conversation